Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. Tonight I'm hanging out with a bunch of nerds and we're going to be playing some Quest RPG, which for some of us is going to be the very first sessions of Quest, so this should be interesting and fun. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to our illustrious GM, Nerditor Doug.
Thank you. As Dave said, I'm Nerditor Doug. I'm the guide for this campaign of Quest, which is a spiritual and quasi-literal successor sequel to Ingest Quest, the campaign, which is over on the main Nerdarchy, the YouTube channel, where it's an interspherical travel production aimed at visiting exotic cultures and sampling the unique cuisines encountered along the way. Within the context of the game, it is sponsored by Hark, the ubiquitous arcane source review platform, and it is produced by the Black Forest Investment Group. And when the original campaign left off, the crew had dematerialized from where they were after catering a wedding and reappeared in a void of space called the Weird. They were aboard a living SpellJammer juvenile ship named Arlosh, which was the child familiar companion to Sirkas, one of the Ingest Quest crew. And they have been missing for several years. In fact, the exact amount of time since that last campaign aired in real time and in the campaign time. But they have returned to the Crystal Sphereverse from the Weird, where they were met by a flotilla of GIF military ships that escorted them, to safety. And they were reunited with the Black Forest Investment Group, which threw a big gala to welcome them back to known space because they had been missing all these years. So a lavish gala has been prepared aboard Arlosh, who in this time is now an adolescent. He's a bit bigger, of a manta ray-shaped creature, living ship that actually has like quarters and things within it. Sirkas, who is a spider humanoid mystical entity, is the only one left from the original cast who returned from the Weird and went missing after their final culinary challenge several years ago. She was alone aboard the ship, and as our story starts on the deck of Arlosh, which is festooned with silk drapes, very, very fancy, no expense was spared. And of course, there is just sumptuous spread of food everywhere of all different kinds and fantastical varieties. In fact, the food presentation was overseen by Dr. Christopher, his last name's escaping me, a very accomplished and sophisticated gentleman who, as we come in on you Christopher, you see that a big sort of stage thing has been erected where Nerlag, who is a spiky-haired, bleached, blonde-haired, squat gentleman, is sitting up on a chair with opposite Sirkas talking to her. You actually are just sort of keeping an eye on everything, and your assistant, Dr. Sherbert West, is also assisting you. He's sort of like your second, your right-hand man at this event that you've thrown together. But this is a big event for you. I mean, you've catered many events such as this, and you can overhear Nerlag up on the stage, and he is talking to Sirkas, and he's like, "Look, we all know about your culinary discoveries and triumphs. It was just a veritable festival of funk, which you guys did. We all know about the Boulet Mignon, which has just become a beloved recipe throughout the Crystal Sphereverse. You guys helped the blind monks make death cheese. You encountered a cosmic double boiler of chocolate, and so many more. But what fans and foodies really want to know is, what did you find in the Weird, and what's next for you?"
What did we find in the Weird? You'll forgive me if I am not keen to talk about that immediately. I've designs on finding out what happened to my compatriots, and it's all been quite chaotic, if you will.
Saving some for the sequel, huh? Keeping us on our toes.
Yes, of course. Like smiling and like her big venomous fangs just sort of like twitch outward a little bit.
Is Circas like uncomfortable in this situation? There is like there's a lot of guests and things mingling about, but quite a few people are watching intently. You see a few people have like copies of a book that says Ingest Quest, and like they're maybe hoping for an autograph or something like that. Up till now, you'd been sort of like not sheltered, but like you didn't have to deal with any of that. They just sort of brought you up recently.
She has 2 arms that are like knitting as they constantly are. Her back is straight. But like she's got like big fang-filled arachnid mouth and 8 different eyes that are like not always in the same phase of being open. If a face like that can tell you whether or not she's nervous, then more power to you, but it's impossible to tell otherwise.
Make a roll. We'll see how well she is masking her. And we'll try out our rules for the first time.
18.
Literally for most. What is it?
18.
Oh, that is a success. You accomplish your goal. You are cleverly hide your emotional state. What's that?
I said the dice know.
Yes. So and as you look around, you do take note of like, the amount of different dishes and everything. And standing over by one, there's like a sort of a special table set aside. It's like extra decorated and everything. This is the signature dish, which, if you don't mind me injecting this, Chris, is a there we go. They're these like miniature little challah toasts with dill cheese, fennel, and smoked salmon, and just very delicately. And there's like trays, and it's sort of the introductory dish for everybody. And Nerlag sort of looks over you, and he's like, hey, "If you don't mind, Sir Cass, I'd like to invite our culinary expert who oversaw the food presentation to talk about what he has here and how it compares to the amazing things you might have seen."
Please.
Sure. So, Nerlag sort of gestures over to you, Chris, to invite you up to the stage.
So Christopher stands in this almost a little too smooth motion and sachets up to the stage where Sir Kas and Nerlag are sitting. Yes.
So, how does it feel to, have overseen this culinary extravaganza for somebody like Sir Kas here, who has seen like, some pretty amazing stuff out there?
Oh, it is such an honor. And Christopher McDonough, by the way, and he reaches for Sir Kas's hand to shake it.
And like it's not one of the ones that she has in front of her knitting, but she like reaches around from behind with like a third hand to shake with you.
Oh, who did your dress? It's exquisite, first off. And then he just stops for a moment as though like something has occurred to him or he's having some sort of psychic vision, and he turns. When meeting someone for the first time, it is important to offer some form of gift. And I turn back around to you as if I just have not said anything and produce a cupcake with pink swirled frosting. A special delicacy for you, oh famed adventurer.
She will take that cupcake gently in like the second set of arms, and with the third, she'll like reach into a bag and like to sort of draw an almost sheer scarf, but it's like on the shorter end of things, more like an ascot really, and like prefer it. And she's like, if that is considered the custom in this place, then I would be glad to reciprocate your gift.
Oh, this is beautiful. Did you make it?
Yes.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And he tucks it in the little pouch on his suit. So, Nerlag, do tell, how did you manage to get these people to come? Where are the others, by the way?
That's what we were hoping to find out. I mean, it was just a hot frisbee of fun to hear that they even showed back up. I mean, Ingest Quest was a huge success. It was the #1 culinary extravaganza of its time. There'd been nothing like it up till that point. It was just totally bananas that they disappeared after the galactic wedding. And we didn't know what happened to them. So when the GIF flotilla let us know that they had been rediscovered, the Black Forest group spared no expense. He gestures around, and Christopher, you would know this, Circus, you probably wouldn't. Like, there's like a who's who of crystal sphere nobility and stuff like that mingling around. And at this point, you see Dr. West is begin passing out those holotos points to the guests, and they're all like, "Oh, these are great." You see that they're being received well.
Oh, speaking of GIF, I don't know where he is now. I saw a waiter I didn't recognize. I don't remember hiring. Did you hire someone that I wasn't aware of?
He's like, not that I know of. I mean, I would have thought that would have been under your purview.
Well, see, that's what I thought too. I suppose if I see him, I'll have to point him out.
Well,
perhaps someone brought more snacks.
Let's segue to that potential GIF, who is Ularn, a GIF who was part of the flotilla that you'd have been, just assigned to, which is just like their civilization sort of lives aboard ships, and that's just like you're the collective of ships that you lived on, and you're an agent of theirs, so you're just in the military, you do what you want. But amidst this gala, it was just like total chaos, and just all these nobilities, and there's bodyguards from all these different planets and crystal spheres and everything. Lots of chaos and opportunities for you to shirk your duties or go about your business, whatever you like. And as Christopher's words trail off, we see Ularn, who's sort of found himself in a quiet hallway of this living ship Arlash, or below decks, and it's just like, it's kind of weird. I mean, you're like inside a creature, but it's also like a ship, so there's like doors that open and things like that, like shh, but
so Ulan has just stepped through the doors, closed behind him, and he's got a silver tray with hors d'oeuvres on it, and he sets it aside, and he's decked out in a tuxedo with a top hat and a monocle in one eye, and this like bright red sash. But also he's got this like really long like orange beard coming off his face right now, okay, and a horn coming off the center of his nose. So he doesn't look very gift-like, and also some like black tiger stripes as well, where you can see the skin. He just kind of gets in, sets this aside, and lets out a sigh of relief, and he starts scratching at the beard and kind of like pulls it off and stuffs it in a pocket and pops off the horn and sticks it in another one of it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you sort of like look down the hallway. There's nobody around, and you slip around, and it's like I said, it's mostly everybody of note is up there, and that like Circus was the only person on the ship when it came, so there's nobody down here. You sort of like, once you stop, because you hear like some other waiters and stuff pass by, like another hallway. Maybe you're near where they're using as a kid. Actually, they have a galley, so they would probably be using that. But as you're sort of like creeping around, is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
Not necessarily. Just want to see, like, check out the surroundings. His GIF military training kind of kicks in to make sure everything's secure and safe. Also scoping out possible hiding spots. He's thinking, maybe when the ship makes off, he can stow away and evade the detection of the rest of the gift flotilla.
Okay. So yeah, as you're doing that, one thing does catch your eye as you're, just like looking down hallways, peeking in rooms to see, just check things out. You see a little, like maybe this big, one of those toast points skitter across the hallway, like down the hall from you, and like go under a door.
Oh, I want to go investigate that for sure.
Okay. So yeah, you head down there, and you're a little closer to the kitchen. You can see, you can hear like, the clink and clatter of pots and pans, and just the murmured people talking and shuffling about. Not right.
Yeah, I'll activate my monocle so I can peer into the darkness.
Oh, okay. What is that? It's just like
it just lets me see in the dark.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you see that there's actually a few of those little things now, like sort of, it looks like they're a little patrol, like they're in the shadows, and like, one of them like sort of comes out and then like skitters down the hall, like one at a time. Like,
so it's like, the part of the ship itself.
No, they're like those little toast point things, but they're like, they have little legs, and they're like.
Oh, the food shouldn't be moving.
Yes.
Oh, I'll put my disguise back on.
Okay.
Is it possible for me to try and snatch one up first, though?
Sure. Make a roll.
All right. Oh, that's a failure. They're too fast.
It's just a regular failure.
Yeah, a 3.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, it actually is much quick. It sort of like evades your grasp and your big mitts, and you see it skitter under a door.
Well, on that note, I'll put my prosthetic horn back on and my prosthetic beard back on, and head back up topside to find the lady of the ship.
Oh, okay. On your way there, you run into another GIF who is, in full military uniform, and he's like, "Hey, you there?"
Oh yeah, huh? What can I do for you, sir?
He's like, "We're looking for one of our officers who went missing. Have you seen any other GIF around here? Make a roll for your disguise to see
how
good it is."
Come on,
15.
Dave, yes.
15. Is that just a success?
Yeah, it's just a success.
So yeah, he sort of like, he's got a monocle on as well. So and he sort of like squints his other, even closer to look you up and down. But he's like, "Hey, where's your tray, by the way? Shouldn't you be at work? What are you doing down here?"
I was just looking for the, for the privy to relieve myself. I'm just finished washing my hands, and I'm getting ready to grab my tray and get back on duty.
Like,
there's a slight tremor throughout the ship as Arlosh shudders.
It's like, did you wash it for at least 30 seconds before returning to work?
I like a good 45.
Good man. All right, go about your business.
So I go snake up my tray and then head over towards the stage.
Okay.
And try and catch Sir Cass's attention.
If you will excuse me for a moment, it appears that I am required elsewhere. That will stand and gladly come meet you. But then I pause for a second as I have to stop and actually look up at you, because Sir Cass is 7 feet tall. She doesn't have to look up at very many people.
Well, so right now I'm kind of hunkered down a little bit to make myself seem a little bit seem smaller than I am. So we're probably eye level, or I might even be a little bit below your eye level. I'm gonna have this awful kink in my back later.
Still slightly odd to her, but she, pauses and gestures for you to go on.
He uses the Lord of the Rings dwarf walk from the movie. My lady, I found something strange below running around the ship, and I describe it to you. It looked like one of the appetizers, but it had little legs. Were they like crab legs or insect legs?
To my knowledge, most food has legs.
But this was still running around. I mean, I'm a fan of food to go, but this is ridiculous.
And would you like for me to go and catch it?
Well, it's not so much that. I just wanted to make sure that it just seemed odd to me. None of the other food is running around, and these are running around down below and below decks. So I was just concerned that maybe something funny was going on.
I see. You could quite well be right. Perhaps that is worth looking in on. I'm sure the party will keep during our investigation. Just quietly relieved to be leaving the crowded room.
Sure. Yeah, Nerlag's just like, well, I guess that's going to put the Shamalam in the ding dong. Love, peace, and taco grease. Enjoy the gala. And, just everybody goes to mingling and, consuming all these foods and all that. Meanwhile, we'll cut to our fourth character here, Orlu, who is also aboard Orlash. You are hiding. And you have been stowed away aboard the ship for some time. And you've actually gotten to know Arlash, who speaks telepathically to you as well, and has not told anybody about your presence. Okay, good.
Orlu has, found some kind of sheltered away spot where he's got all of his stuff just kind of crammed in a location. As an octopoid, he's used to not needing a lot of space. So he's got, his beef jerky and his graham crackers and everything, all of his cooking supplies just kind of stuffed up there. And, he's looking around trying to find, because it's just about that time to, feed Erlash his treats so that Erlash doesn't betray his presence, and can't find any. So he's like got this desperate look on his face, and his usual yellowy orange skin winds up turning white as he realizes that he only brought so many, and the trip from the weird has been long, and feeding a ship is not exactly an easy thing to do, and doing so without being caught. So he's kind of terrified that Erlash is going to come looking for food, and he doesn't have any.
So just as you've gotten to know Erlash, he's also gotten to know you, and the immediate area around you also blanches a shade of white. And Erlash is he's like, I think we got more than a missing snack time to worry about. He's like, and he sort of, he's like, I don't think you're alone in this room anymore.
I will look around. Do I see anything?
You do. You see a little bun with like a little dollop of this creme fraiche on it, and a folded up piece of smoked salmon folded over in little fennel shaved, squeeze under the door and try to skitter towards the shadowy corner of the room.
Rarely does food try to serve itself. He'll snake out his sword and try to see if he can flick at it, to see if he can kind of fling it this way.
Roll the die.
That is going to be a 12.
Which I think is a success, right?
That's a success. Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy game. It's hard to fail. Yeah, you do. You sort of just almost like a frying pan, get your blade under its legs and just flip it up. Do you want it to stay on your blade, or catch it in your hand?
I'd like to catch it in my hand if I could.
Sure. So yeah, it does, and it's sort of trying to squish itself, into the corner of your hand and everything. But you also feel this little prick as it looks like it's sort of trying to dig into your skin.
Can I put my sword down and grab it by the sides?
Yeah.
Try and see if I can look, and does it have a beak or a mouth or pincers or?
Yeah, it does. On the bottom of the halibun, it's cut in half. The bottom, it's got this little sucker-like mouth with a little toothy maw that has sort of opened up, and it's its teeth are out, and it was trying to attach itself to you.
Mm-hmm. So I'll grab my sword and bouncer my shield and begin. I'll keep the thing held tight, and I'll begin kind of slinking out of the ship.
Okay.
I, reach out to Erlash. How many of these things do you think are here?
He's like, give me a second. He's like, my mom's coming too. I think we should probably tell her.
Really? Oh man, this is gonna be so exciting.
And you see that the the little area around you turns to like a shade of yellow, which you've come to understand is Arlash's way of expressing that he trusts, that there's trust involved. And so yes, Ularin and Circas and Christopher, what did you do when Circas sort of just sashayed away and the gala went on and stuff?
I probably would have been like making general pleasantry for a very short time, enough to not make it obvious that I was following her. And then sort of like slip away to follow Circas. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you also know that you haven't seen Dr. West either, but it looks like everybody's having fun and they're really enjoying those little holotoasts quite a bit.
Right. I'm very glad that they're enjoying. In fact, as host, of course, I would want them to enjoy themselves. And now I need to figure out what's going on because things are just a bit suspicious.
Okay. So you see Ularn and Circas slip away, and you think like, okay, well, things seem okay. You have your suspicions, but you're sort of like keeping an eye on them as well. And you sort of all converge like in a hallway, just below decks. Urulu, as you're like sort of heading forward, you sort of just all kind of round a corner and are like,
hello. I'm so sorry. I haven't seemed to meet you. You look strangely familiar. And he's like looking right at Ularn. Did you do something with your hair? Do I know you? I don't remember hiring you.
Oh, I don't believe we've met. Maybe it was your assistant that hired me.
Perhaps. Christopher McDonough, and he offers you a hand.
And I take it. Urlan. And I kind of look around a little nervously, like I'm looking, like when I say my name, my voice drops a couple octaves, and I'm like peering behind you.
Do you have an audience too?
An audience? No, definitely not. I definitely don't want an audience.
Oh, all right. Well, here. And he gives you another one of these pink cupcakes.
Oh, thank you. And he gets this really big, goofy smile on his face when you give him the cupcake, and he just kind of like unceremonially tosses it up and just like, oh, and it's just like gone, wrapper and all.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it. There are more where those came from, by the way. And you, Christopher McDonough, and he extends his hand to Uralu.
Uralu, who's kind of got a, the buckler's, kind of attached to a loop on his belt. The sword is kind of, point back. And he's like looking at his hand, looking at the other hand that's holding this very struggling food creature. And then looks past you and begins like stammering at Circas.
Oh, lady, that's what I was talking about. Those things, what he's got. Are they yours? Did you bring them on the ship?
He asked.
Wait, what's that?
So my
Are you responsible for the little
Did I?
food?
No, I just found it.
I see.
Oh.
Who are you with?
What?
Which party at the gala are you with?
Oh, I'm friends with Erlash.
Arlash.
Yes, Mom.
Is this a friend of yours? Do you have a friend over?
Yeah, he's cool.
Why didn't you tell me that you had a friend over?
I don't know. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Tell me when you have friends over and you will not get in trouble. I'm not going to be upset with you for making friends. You should have friends at your age.
the very yellowy orange octopoid skin that you can see begins changing color to like a violent purple.
Mm.
Ooh, yes, I am all about that purple shade. That is gorgeous. So,
Are you quite all right?
Oh no, I'm fine. These things will bite. I don't know what you want to do, but your ship very much says there's a lot of them. I don't know. I'd be glad to help. I'm very helpful. Do lots of things.
ooh, food that bites back. Let me see. And he just comes over and tries to take it from you.
So you want to hold it by the side. Don't let it stand on you because it will try to burrow into your skin.
Oh, how pleasant, how delightful. And he just takes it and starts turning it around, examining it.
Yeah. So yeah, and examining it, you make a. Oh no, actually, it's not a game. It does bring to mind like some like darker recipes that you've heard about in your studies as a doctor of the dark baking arts.
Oh, yes, yes. I think that I've made something similar to this before. Mine flew. Um, oh, yes. The little Honeycrisp wings, they're great. They taste lovely, but be careful, they sting. Oh, yes, I love this. Ooh, take a look. And I just hold it up to Ulan, like up in his face. Isn't it
You see it, it's just
adorable?
like
Are they dangerous?
I don't know. Take a look though. Isn't he cute?
Can they hurt your ship?
Arlash, do you have any idea where these are coming from?
he's like, I think they're coming from the kitchen. He's like, he says though, he's like, there's also, he's like, I'm picking up a big heat signature from your special web room where you keep the gastronomicon.
Well, that simply cannot be allowed to stand now, can it? And I'm going to go immediately to the web room and motion if you would like to follow along. I am sure I could use the backup.
So,
Absolutely.
Orlan reaches behind his back,
Mhm.
under his coat, his tuxedo jacket, and then pulls his hand out, and he's got this axe-headed black powder pistol. I'd be more than happy to help, ma'am. I've been known to act as an exterminator from time to time.
Quaint.
Urulu doesn't really say anything, but his expression is easy to ascertain, and he's basically bouncing up and down and basically has to be pushed off of your heels because he's following so close.
Okay. Is Christopher following along as well?
Oh yes. He turns for a moment and says, when hosting a party and something is suspected to go wrong, it is imperative that you deal with the situation as quickly as possible. And then he turns back just as if nothing happened again.
Well,
More words of wisdom.
Geez, you knit so fast. That was teeny when we started. Oh my god, I just realized that. It was like this big. Just like a half an hour ago. Anyways, yeah, so Sirkas, you lead them through Arlash, and there is a special room that is suspended in the center of it is the Gastronomicon, a deeply powerful culinary tome of secrets that you have spun a cocoon of webs around. And in that chamber, though, there is a number of these little like fire beetles, but they have like articulate hands and feet, and they're like crawling along the webs and like burning them away under their touch.
Bugs in my web.
Yes, and
Cheeky.
as the door opens and you take that in, like several of them like detach on these little fiery wings and like and start flying towards you all standing in the doorway.
Well, then I would if it looks like Seer Cast, like something is heading in her direction, I would absolutely use an action point and intercept so that it attacks me instead of her.
Sure. That is exactly what you do. So yeah, what is that ability? It just if something's being attacked, it's attacking you instead.
It's rush in to interrupt an attack on someone else.
All right, awesome. Yeah, you do. You dive in front of it, and it bounces off your shit. Is there any sort of effect from that or anything? It's like
no, but I have counterattack. So
okay,
this is me. I can attack it.
So yeah, it's like just stunned like a fly that ran into a windshield and just like in the air.
That's going to be a 16.
That hits. That's a success.
So that's 2 damage.
And it's just sort of like turns this like cinders and ash in the air as your sword cuts through. It's like, and yeah, you are standing there in front of Seer Cast. Who would you like to go next?
I will give it to the other bug.
Okay. So yeah, there's another, and it sort of is detaches and is buzzing and tries to. It would just go for Erlu right in the front. And that is a success. So you just take 1 point of damage. As
Oh, you little bugger.
Singes upon you. And then as I will choose next, I think Ularn, he's a man of action, is ready for anything.
All right, so I will bring the axe to bear.
Okay.
Ooh, a 19. Success. 2 points of damage.
That is more than enough. You just, again, like a Orlu's sword, it just turns that cinder ash and evaporates in the air. And yeah, there's several others that are just sort of, like I said, crawling along, trying to burn through these webs. Like, who would you like to go next?
Let's see what Sir Cass does. I mean, these are her webs.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to raise both hands in the air and sort of like weave something very quickly. I use 3 action points to create a mirage, which is a major illusion that can be programmed with looping mechanics, but
okay.
I don't need it to do a whole lot. I just need it to look like the Gastronomicon. And I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to say, is this what you were after?
Yeah, and they sort of like these weird buggy things sort of like stop what they're doing, and they're sort of like just kind of coalesce around this illusion that you are presenting to them.
How many of these things are there?
Is it like a tangible? Can it be touched? I mean,
it's a major illusion. I have to imagine it would be tactile.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That's a huge amount of points. So yeah, they sort of like a light on it, and their little grabby hands and feet, like sort of grab onto the corners.
How many of them are there?
Probably like 7 or 8 now. I mean, they were all over.
Would you say they're distracted?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll spend an action point to sneak attack.
But it would be
right, initiative, and it's Christopher's turn.
No, it's an ability with the foes. Sneak attack, make a quick attack on a foe who is distracted.
Okay,
oh, that's cool.
So it costs a point, and let's see. I fail horribly.
You're so enamored of this magical illusion that you don't want to damage the book, so you're like, I'm trying to get it. But,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm like, I almost cut it in half.
Yeah. You thought you were just trying to. You thought, well, I know she just teleported it to her hands. You know what's going on. So yeah, Christopher, then it is your turn. You would understand the magical phenomenon.
This will not do. Oh no, this is not something on the agenda. And I would like to look around for a fire extinguisher because you said these are fire beetles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to look around for a fire extinguisher.
Make a roll.
Okay. 18?
Yeah, actually, you're not sure, and you like look back where you just looked, and there's like a little panel has opened, and there's a little fire extinguisher canister.
That. And then
I got you
can
covered.
I shoot it on this turn, or do I have to wait?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I want to shoot it at all the bugs.
Okay.
Just fire extinguisher them.
Yeah, they all get doused in this stuff, and they're still holding the illusion, but like they're just kind of smoldering. They just look like black beetles.
So it didn't put out their fire. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. Who's left to go? I'm not sure.
That's everybody. So
Everybody. Okay. Let's throw it back to Urulu again.
okay.
All right, so these things are all the same size, right? There's not any.
Yeah, they're just like, maybe this big.
I just did.
Bugs.
Well then, I will continue slicing away. That's going to be a 12 success.
Yep. All right. You slice another one away. The illusion kind of like dips a little bit because that one was holding it. Yeah. Who would you like to go next?
Oh, I'll take it to Ularn.
Okay.
I want to so they're like all kind of together.
Yeah, they sort of like, it's a
book?
big tome, and they're just sort of like, trying to grab at it, or
Can I try and scoop them up in my top hat?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I want to try and just get as many as I
Yeah,
can.
it'd
With
be
it.
pretty big, so yeah, you could probably get at least, we'll say 3.
Oh, catastrophe!
Oh
Jesus.
no.
Yeah, the character automatically fails, and the guide may create a severe setback.
I will say that in bumbling that, you sort of like brush off an amount of the fire retardant material, and they sort of like kind of like burst back into life for a little spurt that spurts out and hits you for 2.
All right. I'm so sorry, Sir Cass. I'll throw it back to Sir
It
Cass.
singes your orange wig, which smells horribly now. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, he is a spy. It's probably like good stuff. It's not just like.
Well, it smells like burned hair. It still smells bad.
But does it smell like burned, like plastic hair or real hair?
You know what? Right, let's go with plastic hair.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty gnarly. So yeah, back to Sir Cass. Okay, sure.
I'm going to sigh slightly and is there any part of these bugs that are not on fire?
Not anymore. They're just sort of like hot, then like.
Well, I will then proceed to, because they're on the book, right? So I will carry the book toward the door to get them out of the room that they're in.
Okay.
Make a gesture with one of my other hands. If someone would kindly take care of the fires in the room. And I'm like looking for a waste bin to drop them into.
Are you letting them take your illusion? Is that what
I mean, no, it's still in my hand. I'm taking them with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're sort of like tugging at it the whole time, but yeah. Okay, and then who would you like to go next?
The bugs.
Okay. I'm going to say they're going to roll to try to tug it away. Actually, you know what? I'll have you roll to see if you can hold on to it.
Okay.
We'll put it in your hands. Frankly, I'm not even sure what you're supposed to do as the guy, but I think it's
17.
one of those like, oh yeah, so yeah, they're trying to tug at it and stuff, and you're just like, I mean, you have more arms, and then it's just a war. It's a war of attrition, and you're winning. And then, would you say you wanted to try to like scoop them up or something?
Yeah, like if they're on the book, I'm going to try to carry the book away so that I can because like when you've got a bug that's on something.
Oh yeah,
you're,
sure.
Carrying the bug on the thing, like you don't want to touch it. So I'm gonna try to find like a waste bin to dump them into.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you do. There's one that's in range or nearby. We'll say, just like there's a bin and with a lid, and you just sort of like drop your illusory book in them.
Well, this is
And
certainly going to be.
You hear like like trying to bump around in there, but otherwise.
Yeah, I put a boot on top of the waste bin.
Okay, it seems pretty stable.
This is certainly more trouble than I expected a gala was going to be. They had to have come from somewhere, and I would strongly suspect that it would be the same person that's causing trouble in my kitchen.
So are there any more bugs, or was that all of them went in the trash can?
Yeah, you got them all.
Can I put out the fires with the extinguisher since I have it?
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
little the remains of the ones that you had killed. Christopher, in particular, you would recognize like this is highly complex necromantic sort of magic that these look like regular bugs that were given what you know is called the bitter gift, which is like a very powerful doctor technique.
Oh, I like these bugs. I bet there's something interesting in the kitchen. And after putting out the fire, I just start going toward the kitchen.
Well, by all means, lead the way. And
Okay.
I scoop up the waste bin and carry it with me because I'm
Okay.
not leaving it here.
All right. So yeah, you head towards the kitchen, and as you get closer, you see several, or Ularn, you see several people. You know, there's Reinhold, Arnold, Quad, Belinda, and they're like sort of like coordinating, and you see them like shouting, like, "No, you go there, take point," and blah blah blah, and just like shouting orders and everything, and like doing hand signals and
I
covering
am
each other.
going to try and make myself small and unobserved.
Make a roll. Yeah, they're mostly talking to each other and
Yeah.
like guests. And
It's
things. You see,
a
like, people-
17.
Yeah, so yeah, they're too preoccupied. You see like people in fancy gowns like running about and stuff like that.
Is there anything?
And then you see like coming down the hall after the people that were running is like a big sort of lurching, big by I mean like 3 to 4 feet tall, but it looks like a knotted, twisting, like bread humanoid that's sort of like loping down the hall and chasing people.
I will yell out, "Hey, doughboy, get over here!" I will use provoke.
Okay.
So it doesn't say I need to make a roll, but it has to be able to understand my intent. And for the next minute, the target focuses attention on me, ignoring all others.
So yeah, sure. This thing does. It stops in the halls. It's chasing, and like it's got like one of the knots of its bready body is like a head shape turns towards you, and there's no features or anything, but it just starts like, on all fours, sort of like down the hall at you, and I'll say it just tries to attack at you.
Cool.
Which is a success. So it does 1 point of damage as it just sort of like bashes you. And it feels like just soft, bread. It's got like a kind of a glazed shell. It looks like a big hollow loaf was like untwisted and then twisted into a humanoid shape.
Okay.
It's a challah at the gala. That's why I didn't want to. So yeah, it bashes it, and then I will say I'll say it's Circass's turn.
Okay. So I would. All right. I'm going to Mirage again. I'm going to create a duplicate of Urulu to like sort of move around and with him so that it's less likely for him to get hit directly, like sort of, do this protective action from a distance.
Okay.
Like it'll still be focusing on him. It's just not going to know which him it's focusing on necessarily.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, it does totally like kind of like split its attention and seems to be deceived by your illusion for sure. Who would you like to add?
Oh, that's right. We're doing that. Ularn's gone?
Nope.
Okay, Ularn, you're up.
A distracted red creature confronts you.
All right. I will try and stab it with my axe.
All right, sounds great.
Not very well, though. 3 is a failure.
Oh,
and you face a setback. But your axe sort of like gets stuck in its doughy form. So next round you have to pull it out. You sort of like jab it in there. It sort of like bakes around it. You see it like actually form. Like
I got it. Hit it.
And who would you like to go next? I think Christopher's the only one who has an act.
Yeah, Christopher. That's what the doctor can do.
Now, Henny, we love a gorgeous necromantic moment, but this is not okay. And I will go up to it and I will just take my finger and I will like start out by just touching it. It will slowly drill further in. And as he does, there's almost like this sneer that goes into it. And he is doing, what is it called? Corrupt.
Oh, okay.
So I need to make a roll. That is a Nerdarchy N. I'm doing good tonight. Woohoo! All right. So I love those Nerdarchy dice, those airplane grade things.
So
Yes.
what is that supposed to do normally?
You grip a creature and create a necrotizing wound in its flesh. It doesn't say anything about damage or anything like that, so I don't know what it does.
So what it does with your triumph is sort of like it begins to like separate out into its base ingredients and like yeast and flour and all that stuff. And then as it's sort of doing that and separating, you see that there's a person underneath, and it's sort of like just that turns back into its base ingredients, which just like like fall to the floor, and there's like a breathless person inside, like.
Are you okay?
She's like, what happened? She's like, we were at the gala and enjoying those wonderful challah toasts, and then I don't remember what happened. Where am I? How did I get down here?
Oh, interesting. So the food ate you. Oh, that is not what I planned, but I'm not opposed to this plot twist.
She's like, what?
And she looks like one of the guests, not like one of the help.
Right.
And then I will turn to Sir Koss and be like, so I'm pretty sure that whoever is doing this has something I want.
Well, I suppose let's find out who they are and what they're doing. Regardless, we need to put a stop to this. Whatever's going on in this ship is threatening my son, and they're going to find out that that was an unwise decision.
Like, go get him.
We need to go find whatever is in the kitchen, because this hallway is not the kitchen, but this clearly came from the kitchen.
Do you think we should clear out the ship so no more bystanders get eaten by the food?
I think we should do that after we cut it off at the source, because it doesn't do any good to take care of the symptom if the fever is still running rampant.
To the kitchen then. And I'll just start going to the kitchen, continuing to try to find whatever's going on.
Okay. So yeah, you fling open the kitchen door, and there are several little very small trifles that are also animated, and they're like working the line and stuff. But most importantly, you see Sherbert West on the other side of the kitchen. And he's sort of like surprised as you all burst the doors open.
Oh, Sherbert, do you know what's going on in this kitchen? Something is chaotic.
He's like, he smiles and he says, yes. He's like, it's my plan is coming together perfectly. He's like, you got me access to this gala, and for that I'll thank you. And he says, when you're ready for your amuse bouche, then come find me. And he has like one of those wooden like kitchen forks, that like just a stirring fork, and he just like sticks it into thin air and opens it. A doorway opens, and he walks through it, and then it closes.
I turned to Christopher, surprised. Oh, you're part of this?
Apparently. But I'm interested. And then he went
after
through
the
that
door
door.
closes
Is that
too,
door?
all those little things that were working in here just sort of like fall inert.
Is the door still open?
No.
Oh, how rude. And then I will just turn to the side again and be like, when you invite someone to enjoy an appetizer, it is very rude to slam the door in their face.
Would it while they were talking and he was opening the door, would have I been able to do something?
Sure.
I have a tracker.
Okay.
And it's just a tag that allows you to track something. You put these tags on. It's like a compass set. So from my spy sash, while they're talking, I want to pull that out and try and flick it at them.
Yeah, I love that, man. I mean, roll. That's awesome.
17.
Yeah. You want to just like throw it in the door like does a stick on a person?
So it just says it's a tag and it has a compass that goes to it. So as he turns his back and goes through the door, I just chuck it on the back of him.
Just like a kick me sign.
Yeah, like a kick me sign or a Spidey tracer,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's stuck in the folds of his chef's coat. And as the door closes, you just whiz it in there and it sticks on him. For sure.
Well, that was very rude of him.
Well, don't worry. I pull out this arcane compass. We'll be able to go find him and take it up with him later. And I show you the compass, and it's like pointing in a direction, possibly.
Oh,
at the moment, it's just sort of like spinning crazily.
Does it normally do that? Because that doesn't look right for a compass.
Well, I've only ever seen that happen once before.
It should settle on a direction soon. Maybe he's
unless he's in the weird.
Well, maybe that could be it too. But when he pops his head out, we'll be able to find the tracer.
If he pops his head out.
So, what's this person's relation to you?
To me? Oh, he's my assistant.
Was your assistant?
Yes, well, we're definitely going to be renegotiating his salary after this mess because that was not okay. It was very uncouth. And just, honey, no.
Well, you seem to want to take that book.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the beetles that were in the thing, I've stopped moving about as much.
So was the information that the Gastronomicon was acquired in, was that listed in the actual book?
No. Okay. Actually, I don't know, Circus, would that have been a detail that you would have
I'll volunteer it now. I will let them know that the thing that the Beatles were trying to, because I did make a copy of the book and it did very clearly say Gastronomicon across the cover.
Oh no, Orlu's asked, he is a fan of Ingest and he has a copy of that book. Do you think, was it publicly known?
Yes. It was publicly known that we had it.
So then Orlu would, pull out from behind a very pristine copy of Ingest Quest, complete with the gold foiling on the cover. That was the Gastronomicon. It was on, they talk about it on page 57. It was amazing. It's very cool that we didn't, that we got to thwart the attempt of whoever this person is from stealing it.
Indeed. You've read the book, I take it.
Oh yeah, I know it by heart. It's amazing.
That's not unusual at all.
Really? I thought that was very unusual, actually.
I was being sarcastic.
So, do you want to try and go after that person?
Yes.
So I have a little bit of an issue, and I would like to help you out. If you can maybe help me out.
Okay.
So I'm really glad to meet you all. And my name is Orlan, and I'm not really a bearded rhino person, and I take off the beard and the and the horn.
And I chuckle slightly and say in my quiet chitter of a voice. Truly, you are a master of disguise.
And I don't really have stripes. Oh, thank you. As you can see, I'm a GIF, and I'm a part of the Star Thunder Mercenary Company. But I'm trying to leave because all they ever want to do is fight and kill people for money, and I really don't like doing that. But they have a specific word when you do that. It's called deserter, and it's not really good. And they're not going to just let me go. Please hide me. And I drop to my knees and hug Christopher around the knees.
Oh, I mean, dessert sounds lovely, but deserter sounds much less lovely. So, yes, we will take you. We will hide you. You know, I know a great hiding place. There's this closet down below deck. I was noticing it when I was trying to find good places to store the cords for the lights. Come.
How do you feel about having a new uncle?
He's like, well, I think a deserter sounds like it'll fit right in with this crew, Mom.
All right. Well, welcome to the family.
So I'd like to stay too. Like I said, I'm good at helping. I can do a lot of things. I'm not afraid to put myself in harm's way to do fun things. And
Oh, you were in the moment Arlosh said that you were a friend of his.
Oh man, are you gonna be her friend too now? That's not as cool anymore.
I'll still be your friend.
Yeah, but now you're like my mom's friend too. Will you still give me snacks?
I'll find some new ones. Sure.
All right.
I would hate to impose or suppose or any other sort of pose that didn't involve this. And then he strikes a magnificent pose. But would you allow me to accompany? I'm fully capable of making my own accommodations if need be, but I feel interested by this. And I mean, honey, your aesthetic, just all of it. Yes, I am. I need to learn some things clearly. And that knitting, I don't know how to knit. I would love to learn that.
Oh, I would be more than pleased to teach you, and I absolutely adore your goth sensibilities. So, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. And then maybe in turn, I can teach you a little bit about these creatures.
I would appreciate that quite a lot. My magic tends to run more toward the mind-bending variety.
Oh, mine is specifically geared towards this. And I pull out my spell book. See? And then I just open the pages and start flipping through and explaining jargon that is completely in the realm of that school of magic.
And you know what? Circass wouldn't be weirded out by that at all. She's like just listening and nodding along like this is the most fascinating shit she's ever heard.
Of course, anyone else who wants to learn is welcome. And he sort of glances at Urulu and Urlan to not exclude. But you just struck me as more magically inclined.
Spell weaving circle.
Urulu wouldn't really be paying, Christopher all that much mind. He's, looking at Circas and looking around to try and see if there's any more of these scuttling food creatures, just to make sure that nothing is gonna, come and attack while our backs are turned, so to speak.
Okay. You don't find any evidence, and in fact, Arlash kind of, just picks up on what you're doing. He's like, hey, Orlu, I'm not sensing any of those other ones around at the moment. He's like, you know how Mr. Erlarn said he didn't want to be killing things and such?
Yeah.
Do you think you want to help kill that giant bread monster that's attacking all the guests up on the top deck? And like, just as he says that, the ship was like, and like rocks as it is like this massive impact, just sort of
I
shakes the whole ship where you're standing.
I think it's time to go to the top deck. Problem.
Bread monster, how delightful. Yes, I am all about this life.
Another one?
I think it's bigger.
Yeah, as you rush up on the deck, you see more of the gift shouting, and now they've gotten out their blunderbusses, and there's it looks like all of the little holotoasts have converged and sort of like merged into this giant one, but it has already started to like get moldy and stuff, so it's like a big moldy knotted bread monster that just sort of like has these ropey arms. It's like sort of smashing all the gala tables around, and you see people like getting knocked about and things like that. And like there's like a contingent of gift that are like like firing their blunderbusses into it. What would you like to do?
Oh my. I really hope that Gorgon Ramsay has not seen this yet, or we are going to have a whole nother mess on our hands.
Oh wow, that's a great name.
That comes from the chat, courtesy of Brian Smith.
Brian Smith is always coming up with gold.
Right. No, we need to deal with this before all of the A-list celebrities blacklist me forever. This was, it is great. This is an awesome theme for a party when intentional, but in this situation, not so much.
This is not Soviet Russia. Food does not eat you.
Oh, yes.
Like this is like that time the Mido of tried to take those people in the brain canisters. Remember, ma'am?
I remember.
Cool. I will rush to the door. I won't go through it, but I'm going to take out one of my old-timey bombs, light it, and chuck it underneath the bread monster.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and you see up there, you get a closer look. Your like CEO Lieutenant Giselle is like sort of commanding the small force of GIF, and you as you doing that, you also overhear one of the officers are like, somebody's stealing one of the hammerheads, or one of the biremes. For all you Spelljammer sticklers, that's kind of shit. That's from Spelljammer. But anyway, so yeah, you're throwing an old-timey bomb at the molding bread golem.
Yeah, so I rolled 10. Golem? Tough choice.
Tough choice?
Yeah, character succeeds in what they're trying to do, but there is a cost.
The cost is you realize that the gift companions that you're trying to escape from are going to get caught in the blast unless you shout out to them to get out of the way, and they will surely see you.
I'm going to let them get caught in the blast.
Okay. How much damage does it do?
Just 2. Everything does 2, right?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if it was like a power or something.
No.
Okay, so yeah, you see, they're tough too and everything, and they're just like, a bunch of debris and everything. And
I used the explosion to duck back inside.
Okay, yeah, and confident that they did not see you. And then who would you like to go next?
I think what Urulu is our warrior, so he should go.
Sure. Yeah, you have definitely detected.
So I can get up to melee with this thing.
Yes, it is in range.
All right. And how tall is this thing?
I'm sorry, it's nearby, so you could get in range. It's probably like 15 feet tall. So yeah, I guess comparatively to gifts, not a huge thing, but to like normal people, it's like
I don't know how tall Christopher is, but so far we've got
yeah, everybody is extremely tall.
You've got the gift that's over 8 foot tall. Urulu is only a thin 6.5 foot tall.
They're all from light gravity planets.
He's a very dexterous fighter.
Sure.
He's like bouncing and like flipping around, total whatnot. But he's gonna do a wild attack.
Okay. What does that do? Did I tell you guys you get 2 AP back from? I forgot I was going to do that at the hour.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 17.
Okay.
I deal double damage, so it takes 4.
Man, and what it's just like a whirlwind attack? Is that what
so basically, you set a style. What is the signature style? So basically, he kind of goes into like some Jedi flips and that kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, and you're just like slicing off knots of this bread, which are like falling in chunks, all around you. You're a whirlwind of death. bread death.
So you said we got points back?
Yeah, 2. I forgot. I was gonna say
I
the hour
only
mark.
used 1.
So you can only have 10 max. So you're
Yeah,
tapped out. And then who would you like to go next?
I will toss it over to Christopher.
All right.
Oh,
Christopher's
dear.
strong necromantic magic coming off this bread creature.
This bread needs to stop. And I will go up and dig my fingers into it again and try to corrupt it.
Okay. Was that I forget, was that a roll or it just does a thing?
I presume it's a roll. It says you grip a creature.
Oh yeah, it just didn't say like a damage. Okay, yep. Let's roll it up.
I don't think I succeeded. I got a 4.
That is a failure. Yes, you face a setback presented by the guide.
Ooh.
Let's see. A town is destroyed.
A town is destroyed.
We'll just say you lose 1 hit point. It does damage to you.
Oh.
Unless you can think of, unless you have some narrative setback that you'd like to pitch me.
Maybe my hand gets stuck in it.
Okay, so yeah, you're just like
trouble using my magic.
Okay, I like that better. That's cool. Yeah, let's do that. So that is the setback. And then who would you like to go next?
I'll let the bread monster go next.
Okay. Yeah, it's just gonna sort of try to like suck you into it. So I'll have you roll to like resist and not be pulled out.
Oh dear, this is not what I had planned for tonight. That is really not what I had planned for the night. That's a 2.
All right. Well, I think that's still just a failure. So yeah, it's sort of like.
Oh, good, because I was afraid it was a crit fail.
No, it's like you're up to your shoulder in this thing now. And
oh my! This is
Christopher really tall as well?
Huh?
Is Christopher really tall as well?
He is 5'9".
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was like extremely tall like this.
No, he's pretty relatively short actually.
But while you're stuck in there, though, it feels all like warm and doughy and whatnot, like warm bread, and it smells really good. Well, except for the moldy parts. But you also feel like your hand touches, like your fingertips brush against, like it feels like maybe like parchment or paper inside there.
So I'm having a very strong mix of emotions right now in which I'm terrified for my life, but honey, this is so warm and nice. And also there's paper in here. Is this some sort of moon cake or something? I thought this was challah. Oh dear.
All right. Who would you like to go next?
It's the bread monster, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. And it was trying to suck you in, so that was its.
Also, I think I'm the only one that's left.
Did you? Oh yeah, he threw the old-timey bomb. Yep, go for it.
All right, so I'm going to use 3 AP to make myself invisible, and I would like to climb up the wall, and then because I don't know how much of this I can get done on 1 turn, but my long game plan is to descend on a silken cord and start stabbing the shit out of it with knitting needles.
Okay. So yeah, there is like a thing on the back of Arlash's mantle-like body, which is like where the stairs go down. It's like a little enclosure thing, and you can climb up on there. Yeah, as you're up there too, you actually see one of the ships breaking away from the flotilla, and it looks like there is, from your view with your accomplished space vision, you see that it's sort of like a galley type ship with the oars. And on the oars are manned like, it looks like sort of humanoid crab people that have been breaded and fried. So they have like a crispy outer shell, and they're just like rowing the thing. And at the top of the helm of the ship, you see Dr. Sherbet West going off into the Phlogiston. But you're able to get up there for your. Let's see, that would be your move, and then you turn invisible as your action.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll go. So then we're back up to the top. I'll say it's your turn. We'll just go with the flow. You can send off around. You're right up there.
Then I'm going to descend, and I'm going to get stabby.
Okay. Roll for an attack. Does invisibility, the power, like do does it have any kind of like? Special...
No, it just makes me invisible.
Okay, I didn't know if it.
Like I can spend more AP to target more than myself, but like I only spent 3. Anyway, I got a 12.
that is a success. So you accomplish your goal. And she has like a weapon too, so it does 2 damage.
Okay, so like I figure because I technically have a dull short sword because that's the thing that it said, but I'm just reflavoring it as my knitting needles.
Yeah.
Because I've got 2 of them. I'm stabbing with both of them using both hands.
Yeah, you're just like, and this isn't D&D, so it doesn't break your invisibility, unless it says it does. I don't know.
It doesn't say that it
Yeah,
does.
so
It just says I'm
you're
invisible.
just invisibly Drax the Destroyer style, and then it's your turn to choose, or you can choose who goes next.
Uberlu.
All right.
Alright.
Uberlu will continue his wild attack upon said bread monster. And that's what I'm talking about. That's a 20. So that is 8 points of damage.
8 points?
It does
So
quadruple.
is Orlu more like, do you imagine he's like slice it to ribbons, or like one big triumphant?
Oh, it would be like lots of little cuts.
Yeah. So yeah, he does. And it's just like, sort of like sectioning it off in things. And your final blow, like you just miss Christopher's hand as it sort of like cuts off at the thing and falls away. And Christopher, you're left holding looks like a index card.
Oh my. When scoring dough, it's important not to cut off one's fingers. And then he just begins reading the card.
It is a recipe. It's in a recipe card. It's written in fevered handwriting and stuff for a recipe called Great Old Buns. That was sort of like imbued with this dough with necromantic power.
Ooh, I'm keeping this, and
you actually would know that it's a recipe that's found in a hushed tome called the Necronamnam, that is forbidden knowledge.
So we absolutely must pursue this person, I say, looking to Urulu. That being said, we do have a party. Sirkas, are we finishing the party, or is the party over and we're turning out the lights?
So yeah, as
Would
you look
prefer
around,
to finish the party?
Oh, really? As you look around, there's just like knocked over tables and people.
I mean, I've been to parties where knocking over the tables was the point, so it's entirely possible we could finish this.
Do the guests look like they're in any state to finish the party?
I mean, there's people that are just, in the aftermath coming to and, crying and stuff. And you see Nerlag like poke out of just a pile of debris, and he's just like, that was gangster. Lieutenant Giselle and her squad are like sort of recovering in the corner. But yeah, I mean, if, it looks like people could use cheering up. That's certain, I mean, it's, nobody's dead or anything, but it's just like, everything's knocked over, bashed up, battered around.
So I have an ability called Magic Tricks. I can produce a tiny magical effect to surprise, delight, or confuse those around me.
Okay.
Is it all right for me to start using that? It's just like the settings version of prestidigitation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just start throwing confetti, and I've got my deadpan spider face on, so there are no antics to go along with this. I'm just colors.
At first people are just confused, but then it's just that simple joy of the lightheartedness and realizing okay, nobody's dead, I mean, it was crazy and the danger's past, and there's people are coming to, they are delighted. And even Arlash turns a shade of purple a bit.
Christopher will raise his hand and music, come on, let's go, people, this is the best part.
So
make roll to see how responsive the staff is to you.
So Urulu would recognize Nerlag and want to, try and get a conversation at some point, if at all possible.
Oh, absolutely. What'd you get, Steven?
19.
Yeah, so yeah, they sort of snap to, and they're like, yeah, okay, boss, and people just start scurrying around, fixing things up and getting, music going and stuff like that. It's tasteful. It's just kind of like dinner party music. Unless is that what you? That's what they do.
Yeah, whatever they are
Oh.
used to doing, and then I'll try to get them to like pick up the beat a little bit and make it more like lively, but it may or may not work.
Yeah, it does. They get your they get in the swing of things, and it's like, okay, they're professionals. It's their job, so they go back to doing what they do. And then Orlu, yeah, you're able to, he's just sort of mingling with other people too, and talking like
it's not anything that we need to actually role play out,
but yeah, you're able to mingle with him for sure.
Just as he would fanboy on Circast, he would fanboy on Nerlag as well. Changing colors, the entire time of reds and whites and purples when he actually greets them. More purples when he's actually doing the those typical lines that you're already going for. But he himself winds up being a bit of a rainbow of
okay
before it's over.
Yeah, he totally signs your book. He says, off the hook time at the gala with you, to my bud Orlu. Signs it.
Yeah, he'll be purple for a while after that.
Nice.
Erlon, why the long face?
Well, Erlon will probably not go above deck after the defeat of the monster, and he's still hiding below deck.
There's a whole party upstairs, complete with food, right?
Yeah, but I don't want any of my old comrades to recognize me.
And I just lay a hand on his shoulder as he's sitting in this probably too small for him utility closet, and just be like, honey, everyone needs to come out of the closet at some point.
No, may I interject? I'm just gonna peek around, and I'm going to be like, if they doubt you are my brother, then they doubt that Arlosh is my son, and I don't think that's a very wise decision. Do you?
No, you're probably right, but let me throw together another disguise real quick, just to be on the safe side.
I start pulling like sheets of fabric out of my bag and just draping them over you.
In your own time, honey, it's okay. And I just kind of pat him on the back.
What kind of disguise do Circast and Ulan come up with together?
Well, if you got you said you're like bolts of fabric and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna create you a drapey outfit like the one that I'm wearing.
Okay, I'll totally put that on, and then I pull out some disguise makeup and start putting spots on me.
Okay.
Because GIF don't have spots for sure. And then I have my little GIF ears, so I put much larger prosthetic ears on, and then I will attempt to blend in and also use my cosmopolitan ability to.
Oh, what's that? That sounds cool.
To basically invent local mannerisms to fool commoners about your identity.
Yeah, I'll say that just makes you automatically succeed. I mean, between the disguise and using one of your abilities and stuff. Yeah, I mean, and there's all kinds of unusual entities within the crystal sphere. So it's not I've never seen that before. I mean, there's that happens all the time. People never seen these people before. So yeah, you totally blend in, and everybody's sort of so that gives you the ability to sort of mingle seamlessly with people too.
With with the common folks. So maybe more so with the help than the.
Oh, I don't know. It's called Cosmopolitan, man. That sounds pretty highfalutin to me.
Yeah. So Orlon, now he'll feel a little more confident. It'll get kind of loud and boisterous and very happy-go-lucky.
Okay. You do, through your cosmopolitan ways, sort of pick up on that, all the guests and things are complaining, I can't taste anything. They're I just don't have any sense of taste, but it's only the guests and maybe a few of the wait staff that probably shouldn't.
Oh no, COVID outbreak.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Actually, I mean, clarify that it's like people are, they're trying different things. They're like eating, like some of the desserts. They're like, I just can't taste anything. They're like, I can taste this stuff, like the other more savory things, but anything that's like a sweet dessert, they just seem to be saying like, I just don't taste anything.
Who says that? Can I just go to someone who says that?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I would like to go up to them and be like, I'm so sorry the food isn't to your liking. And I like touch their shoulder. And when I do, I would like to do diagnose.
Okay.
Which allows me to touch a creature and discover its mysterious affliction.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I like not knowing what all these things are. So yeah, you do diagnose that like something in the way that the food that Dr. West had prepared seems to have robbed the people who ate it of their ability to taste the sweet flavor.
Oh, that's so rude. And now the food is trash. You know what? We're just going to solve this real quick. Sirkos, darling, honey, the party needs to be over. The food is trash now, quite literally. We need to take down the names of the people who can't taste anymore, except you. And I point at some random lady. You already have no taste. That dress is burn it yesterday. But anyway...
I will gladly make you a new one, and we will take your name down anyway. And I apologize for my friends.
She's just like,
it's okay. I've actually never seen him burn anyone that badly before, but I'm sure this won't be the last time.
She's like, yeah, that was really savage burn.
If she burns that dress, I'm okay. But no, and then I kind of lean into her and I'm like, I'm being rude because we have to get them out of here. The food is taking their sense of taste. And then I just smile very like as if nothing is wrong.
Well, in my culture, after a certain point, it is free for all and everyone else's dinner. So if you would calmly make your way to the exits before I start to wrap everyone up for later.
So
you heard it, people. Come on, chop, chop. Wrap it up before she wraps you up. Goodbye.
I'll begin trying to physically usher people out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys are able to. And most of their ways they arrived here, because you're just like sort of in space, like, the flotilla had sort of like people docked on those ships and then walked over. And they all begin returning to their ships. And the GIF crew, are see what's going on, and they're like, yeah, helping people, like, you go down there and directing people back to their ships. And it's not long before you're alone, if that's your intention, unless there was anything else you wanted to do.
That's what I want.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you're left alone, and it's not like everybody just disappears but they're all back on their ships and the flotilla.
Good. Please tell me you did not give anybody any doggy bags. And I just like look at the guy ushering them out.
He's like, no, sir, nobody took any doggy bags.
Good. Don't eat any of the food. Burn it all yesterday with that dress.
No, not all of it. Let's save a couple of samples so that we can get it looked at by somebody that knows how to figure out what's in it and what might have caused this.
Well, he's a doctor, man.
Oh, it was the Necronom. It's a spell.
Okay, and do you know how to fix it?
Not yet.
Well, then wouldn't it help for you to have an example of the food that caused the problem?
Maybe, maybe not. I need to study my book more. See, confession time. I don't have it all together. I really wish I had it all together. I don't have it together. And this book, I have not read this book. I show her my spell book. I have read this much of the book, and I like flip through like half a dozen pages. That's how much I've mastered. There is so much more in here I need to learn. And I promise you that fixing this is in there somewhere.
Well, that is quite all right. But just in case you need the reagent in order to, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you take a thing and reverse engineer? Yes, reverse engineer a cure.
Not a bad idea.
Keep a little bit. And I will put it somewhere that nobody will get their hands on it. And I like proceed to like just knit around and like wrap some of it up.
Absolutely. It's webbed. Or knitted.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah, the Circas use like her own web silk to knit.
Yeah.
With. Oh, okay.
Like, unless otherwise noted, that is always what she's using.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to make any assumptions.
So Erlon wants to strip his disguise once again and get back into his tuxedo.
Sure.
And he also looks longingly at his hat that got a bit singed during the bug encounter.
Mm-hmm.
I can fix that.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. I really liked my fancy clothes and my hat. It's so much better than combat fatigues.
You know, those fancy clothes were for the help. Is there a naked staff member running around here somewhere?
Oh, yeah, on one of the other ships in the closet. He's
Would have
gonna
had to
wake
have been
up.
a very big staff member.
Oh, that was Robert. Poor Robert. Really? You did it to Robert?
I'm sorry.
so nice.
I was really scared, and I didn't want to have to go back with my comrades. All they ever want to do is fight and kill and break things. And
cut to the cargo hold of one of the GIF biremes, and there's a guy with his arms bound looking at a porthole, just like, help!
in their underwear.
Yeah, and that ship just sort of like goes away from the flotilla, or with the flotilla, as you're saying that.
Yeah, I promise they'll be fine when they wake up.
Robert was so nice, though, and he knew where the right forks went and where the spoons went. No wonder the silverware was a wreck.
I kind of had to guess.
Hmm.
We only, and I pull out a combat utility spork. We only use these where I come from, and it comes apart, and inside of it there's like a serrated knife, and it's literally like a tactical spork.
Oh man, you got like a Rambo spork?
It's totally a Rambo spork.
Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Is that military issue?
It is, and you better not lose it, because if you do, they don't give you another one, or at least if you do, it's got to come out of your pay.
Is your
Oh,
astral
honey,
compass on the pommel?
The reason
It
that I
is
picked
now.
is because you don't need another one. That was like 4 seasons ago. No.
As you're showing him that, you notice that your astral compass, which is on the pommel, has stopped spinning around.
Oh, look, it stopped. And I'll take a look at it to see if it gives us a direction.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a magical thing. Does it tell? Like, do you know where it's pointing?
No, it just basically, I think it just tells you a direction to go in.
Well, it is pointing in a direction.
I mean,
It's weird though. You got to kind of like turn it because it's like you're in 3D. So it's like if it's what I mean. Like you know how it works, but it's like
yeah,
you gotta figure out which direction on which axis. But you're able to do that.
I mean, it doesn't even have an action point cost, so
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, in a 3D space, it would be like, well, if it's pointing that way.
Yeah. So the arrow on the compass is black, and it turns gold when the tag is in your scene and begins to vibrate softly. So
yes,
yeah, just a general.
Yep. So yeah, you pick up a signal.
Well, if you want to find that guy and discuss this with him or the terms of your contract, I would suggest you head that way.
Thank you. That's very useful. You know what? I don't even care about the silverware anymore. That is more useful.
Well, if we all had one of these and just switched to the tactical spork, we'd never have to worry about the silverware again.
And then I just sort of nod very graciously and then immediately turn. When someone says something stupid, it's important not to make them feel stupid. And he just turns back.
So
and you look back, and Orlon just has this big grin on his face.
This whole exchange, Overlu is kind of like sitting off to the side. He is not anywhere near like as large as Sirkas or anywhere near as much as Ularn, but he is sitting there watching, and to him, like, this is just another like TV show or program to watch, and he is watching it with rapt attention and just a big old smile on his face.
And then it dawns on you that you're part of this show now. You're like, you look from them to yourself, and you're like, oh man, I'm in it too.
Uralu, you certainly look like you're having a good time.
This is really interesting. My people, we really don't get out and get to see the world. This is something new.
Oh,
We
well,
tend to more like consume other cultures through like books and shows and things. We got a rich trade market of imports, but not a whole lot of interactions. And
My people don't typically talk to each other either.
how sad.
is that because like they eat each other, or just
Yes.
because, that's not us. We're definitely different, but it's we're kind of by ourselves, and I didn't want to do that. And when I saw all these other things that were out there, I'm like, I want to go do that. And as opposed to, and he winds up pulling out a different book from his pack, and this one seems to have like myths and legends about the aquatic realms. And he's like, there's stories in these things, and they're based off of things that are out in the wide verse, and you can either read about them, or you can go try and find them and go do things. And I decided I'd rather be the one to go out there and do it. So here I am.
Ooh, is that one of those underwater books? Let me see that. What's it made of?
So he hands it over, but there's like just this little bit of trepidation, and you can kind of see that he doesn't want to let it go. And he does get a tinge of white, the edge of his hair tentacles. I don't know what the proper terminology is.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, this is interesting. I love books. I have a whole library at my house. I'll have to show it to you sometime.
So like he flips through the book, and he turns to a particular page, and inside it talks about like this ultimate frying pan, and he pulls out, it's like this is a replica, and it's just like a basic frying pan, but the handle actually looks more like a sword hilt, and it's like that's kind of what I'm looking for. Obviously not this one. This is just a fake. And he points to the title of the legend, the Excalibur.
Ooh, how interesting. So you actually want to wield this weapon?
Oh no, it's not a weapon. It's like the ultimate frying pan.
Oh, it looks like a sword hilt.
Well, I mean that's just a style. I mean,
Oh, I see. See, weaponry, magic, food, it all sort of blends together for me. But yes. Now that being said, Sir Koss,
Yes.
question. Are you done with that?
Oh, yes. And he just hands it back. Honey, what are we pursuing this direction that Erlon has given us?
We are going after your Sherbert West because he screwed with me, and I can't let that go.
Right, of course. But well, I was just asking because it seems we have a direction, but
Yes.
I would never be so presumptuous as to tell your son to do a thing.
Oh, Arlash, if you wouldn't mind.
So he's not really made a sherbet or anything, is he? I mean, I know that Sir Cass on her adventures encountered a lot of really strange things, and I didn't really get a good glimpse. Ularn is kind of big, and I didn't really see through the doorway when they ran off. So are we chasing a sherbet person?
No.
It's just a name.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. I mean, as much as Nerlag is a Nerlag, I suppose.
Oh, he's really amazing. The amount of programs that man's been on, whew, crazy.
I mean, I love his energy. I love his optimism. Sometimes he can be a little much for some people. I understand. But yes.
Back home, there's some that they say they get tired just watching because he's got that much energy. He just sucks.
Yes.
I didn't really see that. I was more invigorated by what he did, and he goes to all of these crazy places and tries all of this food, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Yes, that does sound rather interesting, I suppose. I'm curious, why do your people not ever leave? Is it just the lack of water? Is it?
No, it's a cultural thing. It's the wide world is kind of dangerous, and I mean there are places that eat octopus, so why not eat an octopus person?
I mean, I guess I could see some of that worry, but honestly, like you're still a person, you know that, right? Like no one would want to hurt you.
I've
Well,
eaten a lot of people.
You eat people?
Yes, occasionally.
Pardon me.
But usually only if they've done something wrong.
Pardon me, wait a minute. You said something about shows? There's shows? I thought there's only news and talk radio. That's all GIF ever watch or listen to.
What's news?
1100 a.m.
They tell you what's going on in the wider spheres.
Oh,
why do I get the feeling that the news you're watching is very carefully curated and not actually the news at all?
You're talking about the program guide to tell you what story comes next?
No, there's no stories, just things that happen.
Yeah, the stories, the adventures, the fun things, the cooking shows.
No, it's more like, what's being sold at what prices and conflicts around the spheres.
Oh my, you mean to tell me you've never watched like a game show or something? Like there's this one, I love Dungeons and Delving. Oh my gosh, it is the best thing in the world. Let me tell you. Season 8 seems to be halted on hiatus. Something must have happened. I'm not sure, but you need to watch it.
And all those books you had. I mean, I've only seen books with tactical manuals. That's all we're allowed to read.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know anything about reading tactics or watching.
Well, how else did you learn to fight like that? You must have studied.
What? I don't know. Just swing a sword.
Just swing a sword. Oh my god, my sergeant would cane me so bad if he ever heard me say that.
I mean, I've got a spear as well.
And then you get with the rest of your people and you line up and you get into a line and then you practice stabbing things together.
How would I be able to like swing it around me if there's someone standing next to me?
You mustn't do that. You must protect the one next to you.
I do. I throw myself in the way, and if I can get bouncer in the way, all the better. But I mean,
I feel like we went to very different training camps. What was your boot camp like? How many push-ups can you do?
He like lifts up his foot and looks at his boot, and he's looking to see, where there's a tent associated with his footwear. I don't see anything camping related to my footwear, and I mean, I can push up as much as you need me to. There's nothing there.
Like, don't you do morning calisthenics?
Is that anything like calamari? We didn't really eat that at home.
Well, I mean, I've tried it a few times, but that is completely different. You get up before the sun comes up, at least by an hour, and you got to do your push-ups and your jumping jacks, and maybe some pull-ups.
Like, I stretch.
Some stomach crunches.
I stretch, and like he takes his arm. Oh yeah,
stretching's very important.
He pulls the arm, and it
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, far more than it really should be able to.
So he's like an octopoid person in that sense, like he can squeeze through stuff. Okay, awesome.
As much as what you're allowing me,
Oh yeah, go man. You know me. Yeah, go for it, bro. I love it.
I'm starting to feel a little sheltered.
Just as long as you're not being shellfish.
We will disillusion you of that fairly quickly.
So, how long have you been doing this thing, right? What did you call it? What was that book called? What is that book that you have, Urulu?
Yeah, Urulu. It's all about Circas and her friends as they travel across the vast spacescape. And he pulls out the book and kind of gingerly sets aside the certificate of authenticity, and talks about all of the different adventures, and cites the trials of the Belay Munyan, and the marshmallow golem in the chocolate river, and a variety of other fun things that wound up happening in their previous adventures.
I have a confession I would like to make, since it's just us now.
Sure.
They've been asking me what happened while we were in the weird, and I keep having to dodge the question because the truth is I don't actually remember.
Oh, no. Did you get hit on the head? Sometimes, if you're too close to an explosion.
Well, I've been on Erlash for quite some time, and I haven't seen anyone of your other crew members the entire time I've been here.
I know. They're just gone, and I don't know what happened to them. And I am quite skilled at mental magic. I can delve into a mind like some people can delve into water, and I can't find the scars that would be present with such tampering. But something had to have happened, because otherwise I would remember. And I hypothesize there's something out there, something corrosive.
I will approach Circas and get really close and start trying to look into each of your eyes. Were you maybe captured? Maybe you were tortured and interrogated. Oh, maybe they brainwashed you.
I mean, many have tried. And you can see that she kind of doubts it, but there's that little grain of but what if?
So Urulu will get up close too, and he's definitely not getting as close as Ularn, but he's constantly looking back and forth between the top of your head and your eyes to kind of make sure that he's not doing anything that you find bothersome. Well, I don't see any scar marks of where they could take the top of the cranium off, so I don't know how they washed her brain.
Well, they could have hypnotized her. And I pull off my monocle on its chain. Or no, I pull out my pocket watch, even better. Pull out my pocket watch and dangle it in front of Circas back and forth. Yeah, they could have hypnotized her or something, maybe.
Oh, is that something that the gift do? Hypnotizing?
No, it's considered very dishonorable to torture and brainwash people. But we train to not have it happen to us. So if I'm
I
ever,
would like to use an action point to mesmerize Ularn while he's like trying to hypnotize
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I mean, if you're okay with that, yeah, that's fine.
we train extensively to make sure we only give out our name and our rank and our company. That's it. Ulan, Private Ulan of the Star Thunder Mercenary Company, and you just repeat that over and over again.
So what does hypnotizing do? Like, I mean, is that like a thing?
I mean, it's just mesmerize. It's dazzle a nearby creature with an optical illusion. So I'm just gonna like make the watch shimmer and just kind of like get him quiet for a second and just like watching his own watch go back and forth.
I'm gonna buy in on this, and I'm gonna be hypnotized as well.
Sure. Then Ularn and Urlu both make a roll. We'll see how.
I'm failing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll fail also.
Sure. So yeah, you sort of like lose even your military training, Ularn, and just sort of like, you're saying like your name, rank, and serial number, and then you just like. And then Christopher, you look over, and Urlu's also just like.
I chuckle. I'm like, well, I didn't mean to catch them both, but this is what I meant by I know quite a bit about brainwashing, and I snap my fingers.
So I guess if I'm hypnotized, that would fall under surprise. So his orangey yellow skin turns red.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So yeah, I will snap my fingers to bring you back out of it.
And I just pick up right where I left off, like nothing ever happened. And wait a minute, if that book is about Surcast, that means you're famous. And
Yes.
how many stars do you have? And I start looking at your shoulders.
Excuse me?
Yeah, the only famous people in Gift Society are generals.
I was never in the military. I made food and I made outfits.
Wait a minute. You have a choice to not be in the military?
Yes. And now you do too.
Well, yeah, that's why I deserted.
Yeah, and that word just seems so weird. Dessert is a good thing. Why is
I was just like, heck yeah, it is.
I'm
Not
just
if
going
you're
to
a GIF.
interject that instead of a deserter, you are now a desertier.
I like that. That sounds far less harsh. But I have a feeling if my old comrades catch up with me, it won't matter what you call me. I'm going to be ground GIF for sure.
They can certainly try. If we get the feeling that they're coming close to the ship, you let me know in advance and I'll build some webs.
Okay, but try not to hurt any of them. They're not bad. They just like
you would
the
just
GIF.
prefer for them to turn around and leave the way they came.
Yeah, I just don't want a GIF anymore.
You would prefer perhaps if they didn't remember you at all.
Oh, that would be really good.
I smile. We'll see what we can do about that.
So during this time when you've been, just going about business on the ship, I'm sure you were just standing in place. The few remaining, wait staff that had been cleaning up and, helping around that are under Christopher's employ. One of them comes up to you. It's a young guy named Quinoa, and he's got his little, communication device. And he's like, excuse me, doctor?
Oh, yes.
He's like, are you part of this whole culinary excursion crew now? It seems like we're kind of in for a penny, in for a pound. I mean, I don't even know where we're at right now in the show because our launch has been moving this whole time in that direction.
I looked to see your costs sort of for permission a little bit. Yes, I do believe I am. All of you will be compensated.
I told you guys, he turns to the, his fellows. Sorry, what were you saying?
Sherbert was in charge of ensuring compensation. So if all of you want to accompany, you're welcome to attend, but it may be a bit harrowing. Alternatively, I'm sure we can find a spare vessel for you to away in.
It's like, oh no, me and the crew were talking. I mean, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to us. It's like, we'd be proud to serve aboard this ship. It's amazing. The kitchen is fantastic. Got everything down there. the big mixer with the claw thing. They have a
Yes,
proofing oven. It's nuts.
it's equipped with everything. It's really quite fascinating. He is a gem of SpellJammer, is he not?
You
However,
see
I
that
would
the
make
whole deck and everything kind of turns a shade of purple.
oh, and
And also
quinoa.
pink.
Ooh, quinoa. One adjustment though to the contracts, you no longer answer to me alone, but to all four of us, with them as equals. Please and thank you.
You absolutely, sir. He's like, oh well, in that case, then he like holds up his phone and it's like on the Hark homepage, and he's like, "Is this something you guys would be interested in?" And it's a distress call from an icy asteroid called Carnab, where miners at the Banchen outpost report that the asteroid is moving unnaturally fast in its orbit around the sun and attempts to establish contact fail. And you know that the Carnab asteroid is where the best cabbage in the crystal sphere verse is found, and miners dig into the core of this cabbage asteroid to extract the finest cabbage that the crystal sphere verse has ever known. And he's
Well,
like,
it appears to be in the direction we were going anyway.
It's like, that's what we were thinking.
And it would be a great opportunity for me to teach anyone who wants to learn a little food necromancy, because cabbage already halfway smells like dead people when it's cooked. So,
And it'll be a great story.
with that being said, Sirkos, you worry about your mind having been messed with. Let me just alleviate any sort of doubts, if you wouldn't mind. And I just sort of hold out my hand. And if she will take it, I will diagnose to just make sure she doesn't have any sort of mysterious affliction.
I would say, I don't know, that's up to you, Robin. It's your backstory to tell.
All right, so what specifically are you looking for?
Any sort of magic that might have affected her mind.
No, it wasn't magic.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if I need to look for something specific or not. It's just touch a creature and discover its mysterious affliction. And you may not be afflicted by anything. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, even in using your magical knowledge sort of intrigues you even more, we'll say, because you're like, I should be able to, this has never not worked before. So
you are an interesting sort, Sirkos. Very interesting. Honey, we are going to have a grand time together.
I had certainly hoped so.
And with that, sounds like a great line to end our session. As always, since you played a session of Quest, you get a new ability of your choice. That's how the game works.
Hey!
And we'll pick up next week and see what's on the cabbage mining asteroid of Carnab, or whatever else directions this crew takes. And Dave will be back tomorrow. No, he won't tomorrow at noon. Thursday at noon for a live chat, because we're back to filming in person, which we do on Wednesdays. And Ted, do you have any? Is it Friday night game or anything like that?
Not this week. No.
Okay, so yeah, just Thursday, Friday live chats, and then we'll be back next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for Ingest Quest 2, Episode 2.
Yep. Also, the playlist to Ingest Quest 1 is in the description.
Oh, great! So go down there and check it out and catch up on all the kooky fun. And until then,
stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.